Hello everybody, welcome. It's Thursday, or in my mind, it's my Friday, because it's my last day. I've been here for 8 days. It seems like a really long time, but it's been fun. It's a bit like going on holiday, you know, coming up here, hanging around with your friends, eating nice food and having a bit of play on the show. So I've enjoyed myself the last few days. I do hope you are settled in for a really fabulous day that we've got for you. We've got the amazing Jan with us. Hello Jan, how are you doing?
Good morning. It's like we've done a whole cycle.
I know.
I started with you last week and then we've ended today. I have been home in between.
Lucky.
But yeah, so to start and finish, I can't believe you've been here all week, Becky. I kept watching you and thinking, bless her, she's still up there.
Still
a long way from home. But yeah, I'm not feeling 100% today, but I'm here. That's the main thing. And I'm going to try and do my best. But please forgive me if I end up having some kind of coughing fit or anything like that. We'll try and manage it from this side. So I'm staying away from everybody today. I'm not trying not to get too close in case it's anything nasty. But yeah, other than that, I'm happy to be back.
Excellent. There's a lot of lurgies going around at the moment. We've got to be careful, haven't we?
It's that time of year, isn't it? All the weather's changed and there's all the bugs have decided to come and make themselves known. Yeah. There's a lot of people a bit off the hooks, but yeah, mine's just sort of built over the last couple of days, and I thought, oh, you're serious, you know, it couldn't have waited while tomorrow, could it? But we're here, we've got the face on.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be good. As long as we've got plenty of cups of tea, we're going to be fine, aren't we?
We'll be good. Yes,
that's what I reckon. Lots of people are messaging in to say hello. So I've got Lois saying good morning, everyone from Ohio. Anne Clark says good morning, everyone from Dorset. Kelly says good morning, everyone. I'm from the Emerald Coast in Florida. I can't wait to see what's in store to kick off this beautiful day. Charlotte Everett says good morning, all my crafty lovelies from here in Herne Bay. And Sarah Brown's here. Hello, my crafty friends. Special hello and hugs to Jan and Becky. Sending love and hugs to you all from Melbourne, Australia. I hope you have assumed your normal position for watching us on the show. In bed, cup of hot chocolate with Baileys. And actually, when you did mention that on a show a little while ago, and I did think, oh, when I went shopping, maybe I should pick up a glass of Baileys to have a little tipple when I get home. I haven't done that yet, but I might have that at the weekends when I'm at home. We've got a fun-packed day. We've got loads of really great things, haven't we?
We have, yeah. I've thoroughly enjoyed actually well, I always enjoy doing my prep. I don't consider it work anymore because it's doing what I love. I'm crafting and I enjoy it, but particularly when the stamps and the colouring come out. And our first collection that we've got on our masterclass this afternoon are these beautiful floral spray stamps. And these were designed with colouring in mind, but I'm also going to show you ways that you can use them without colour, because I know not everybody out there is a colourist and they don't enjoy it. So I've got a couple of things lined up in the demos later on to show you ideas where you don't necessarily need to get your colouring pens out, but you've got those beautiful bells and you've got the option to cut them out. They're a stamp and die set. This one's one of my favourites.
That's
that
beautiful.
Winter Rose. And again, colouring it differently. It can be any particular flower that you want. You know, I've done one with blue tones in and it looks lovely. We've got the poinsettia in there. They're all designed around those Christmas themes. This one's been put on some acetate with the shaker pieces behind. Again, nice individual statement pieces. That you can colour or fussy, you know, you can actually use the dies to cut them out. You can paper, you know, you can actually stamp onto pattern paper, which is what I'm going to show you this morning.
Oh, nice.
In Wake Up Colour, again, for those of you that are not keen on colouring. Really, really nice one. And these have got a fabulous, fabulous set of Christmas sentiments. Each stamp set has got at least 2 or 3 sentiments. And I must admit, for a very long time, these have been a go-to set to me. Even if I wasn't using the big colouring statement pieces, just for the sentiments alone, there's some really nice ones. So that's one of the main products. And then we've also brought back, these have been really popular. These have not long since been launched, but we actually brought those beautiful Christmas corners. And again, lots of different ways to use them. I'm going to try and show you that through the course of the day. But again, you know, traditionally Christmas, we've got the holly there, we've got those beautiful, beautiful sort of icy snowflakes. And you get 2 different designs in here. So you've got 2 different ones. Now you can mix and match them, you can duplicate them, you could use 4 of them. I've sometimes used one on the front, and you know I like to decorate the inside of my card, so I've used one on the inside. Again, you know, poinsettias, but why not do them in different colours? I just think that is really striking, just with the blues. We've got the decorations there with the baubles.
Oh, that's nice.
Absolutely good. And you can see there are two, you know, we're sort of, you know, you look at this and yeah, there's corners, but then you've actually got sort of decorative elements as well. They don't all necessarily fit that corner shape. And then again, that gorgeous little candy cane there with the other corner. So each one, 2 different corners. There are 6 altogether, so you're getting 12 different corner pieces, which again, we're going to go through. And I've just forgotten that one. I've just brought this one out as well, just to show you that, you know, it doesn't have to be on your cards. You know, gift bags, scrapbook pages, they make gorgeous, you know, just little icons. You've got a lot of Christmas icons there on those cards where we're always thinking, I need that little bit of something. It might just be one of these to use as a decoration rather than a corner element. So yeah, looking forward to demoing these today.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
And we've got a few more people messaging in. Anne Clark says, can I just say that Jan is looking amazing? You are looking amazing.
I keep getting less every time I come, don't I?
Yeah.
I actually need a whole new wardrobe. But that's not a, you know, that's quite an expensive thing, isn't it? And it's like where to start. I think I need a personal shopper. To go and take me and guide me into what works with mix and I've never been into clothes shopping. I think it's with being a larger lady for most of my adult life. I've never really enjoyed clothes. But yeah, I actually need to renew probably about 80% of my wardrobe now.
That's a nice place to be, actually.
It is a nice place to be. It's an expensive place to be, so yes.
But all your hard work has paid off, definitely. And Zoe Carver says, good morning all from overcast West Sussex. Sure, you will all brighten my day. Elizabeth Reed says, good morning everyone from Virginia, and Jan, I hope you feel better soon. And Sarah Brown is saying, Becky should get myself some hot chocolate and Baileys and pop myself into bed at the moment. It's 8 p.m. on the couch and I'm watching you. I do hope you're all having a lovely day, whatever you're doing. Do take the opportunity to, as Jan is in, to message in. If you're a new viewer, you may not realise that we are live, we are interactive. So if you do want to ask a question, if you see Jan using a product, or you've got a product that's just arrived and you think, actually, I've got no idea how to use this, this is your opportunity to message in and ask a question. We're quite nice. We won't bite. It can be anything. You know, we will endeavour to find out the answer to your questions because I think between us we can work on most things, can't we? I
think so. We've got a good combination today, haven't we, with our paper crafting, soft craft. I know you're doing paper crafting as well now. Your journey has begun, hasn't it? So, but yeah, I always think, you know, there's no such thing as a silly question. Yeah. You might think it's a silly question, but you can guarantee there'll be somebody else out there that's maybe not brave enough to speak up yet that's thinking the same thing. So yeah, whatever you want to know, we will try our best. And if we don't know the answer, we know people that do.
We know people
that
makes us sound like we're some kind of gangsters. We know people.
Well, we've got our Leanne in reserve, and there's not many things she doesn't know. So
no, that's very true.
She's my go-to person if I need to know the answer to something.
Brilliant. Right, we're going to get started on the show. So the first items that we've got on the show are these floral spray collections, a stamp and die. You've got an amazing set here. So you've got 6 altogether in there. You've got your Ring Out the Bells, White Winter Blessings, Festive Poinsettia, Christmas Bow and Festive Banner. I'm just going to bend down to grab the board so you can have a look at these. I mean, we've got some samples that you're going to see in just a moment, but when you actually see these stamps and what you're going to be getting, so the stamps and dies that you're going to be getting in here, they're quite significant. And as Jan was saying, these are great for people that want to colour. Perhaps you're just getting started on your colouring journey. And let's be honest, we have a wealth of information, a wealth of different types of products. If you're not sure of the kind of sort of colouring type of thing you want to do, this is going to be your opportunity to try these things out. And these come with the dies as well, which makes it nice and easier for you to cut everything out. And as Jan said, you're also going to be getting those sentiments in there as well. So this first one is Bring Out the Bells. Next one is your Winter Blessings with those beautiful flowers there. And you look at the dies and you think, oh, they look a bit strange over here, but actually they're going to fit perfectly around those stamps. This next one is your Festive Poinsettia. I love a poinsettia. I do really like poinsettia. It's very pretty. But they're just leaves, aren't they? Really, more or less. So just because I think when you grow a poinsettia, you cover the flower part with something dark, like a dark bag, so it doesn't get the sun, it doesn't get any light, and that's why it turns red. Oh. That's how I believe it is. I don't know, useless information, like I said. Christmas Bow is this one here, very pretty there. And you can see you've got lots and lots to colour in with these. This next one is your Festive Banner. And then finally, you've got your Cozy by Candlelight. Oh, that does look very nice, very atmospheric, that one. The selection here of all these stamps and dies is just £26 or $30. Platinum price is £20, 80 or $24. These are brilliant, aren't they? Which one are you going to work with first, Jan?
I'm actually going to use that Christmas bow to start off with, and then later on in the day at 3 p.m. here in the UK, we're going to devote a whole hour to these stamps. And I've got, as I say, different techniques to show you. I've tried to do something different with each one rather than just stamp it out and colour it. So just to go through, I'm just going to show you those samples again in a little bit more detail. Because some of them explain how that system works. So like Becky was saying, there are metal pieces to cut these out, but the large element, the metal work is in two parts. So you can put them together and cut the whole image out like we have done here. Alternatively, if you just want to use one side of that artwork, you can see here how we've actually put this on the edge of the card. So we've just used one of those edges to cut out, and the fact that you have both sides means that you don't have to be rotating images. You can cut out either side, and the rest of it's remained attached to the card blank there. So I just think, yeah, just that simple idea of separating that outline gives you options again. So again, you've got that second little additional piece here that complements the first one in some way. And again, they look nice as an extra topper. You can do them alternate corners, or again, I like to pop those smaller pieces inside. That's the bow that we're going to come back to in a second, and that's just been done on a little accordion fold there. Again, that lovely foliage wreath sort of thing there, and you get the stamps in here. The way that the little banner is part of the image, the stamps are small enough to actually stamp within the banner. So again, you can create different phrases, and then that lovely candlelight, which again, you know, yeah, there are elements of holly and the pine cones in there, but I just think that could be used for a lot of different occasions, yeah, not necessarily just Christmas. And you can see that coordinating piece on here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to stamp it out so that you can see what they look like, and then I've got a couple of different ways to show you what's going to happen with this one.
Okay, fantastic.
So I've brought in my stamping platform. I'm going to use Nina cardstock for the benefit of if we were going to colour. This is my chosen go-to cardstock if I'm going to use my alcohol pens. Now I've done a combination of colouring throughout the day today. I've had my colour blend pencils out, which will be coming up later in the day. So yeah, different cardstocks, but for this one I'm going to use the Nina. And I'm going to pop it in my stamping platform, and then we'll have a look at the components. So this is the Christmas bow, and you get your metal work and a considerable size. If I put this over my hand, you can actually see from top to bottom of the stamp. Yes. You know, it's a good size stamp, that it's meant to be a focal point. So if I put it over here, you can see those details a bit better. Then you get the little additional element, which is almost like a, you know, sort of a corner piece if you want to use it that way. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 sentiments on this one. And as I say, I tend to have these out over the Christmas period, or over the Christmas crafting period, which means they've been out since July time. But these are a really nice go-to set of Christmas sentiments if you don't have them. I found that they were quite, although some of them are specific to the stamps, for example, with the bells, we've got one that says jingle all the way or something like that, but they are in a lot of cases quite generic. And then the metal work is in 2 pieces. So this means that you can actually cut out, and I'll show you what I've done with this. Just make sure you've got them the right way. You can actually cut out just one side. So this could be the corner of your card, and actually cut out this side and have like a feature piece on the front. Alternatively, you could have it on the other side of the card and just cut this side out here, and have the same thing, which is how we got that lovely gatefold with one on each side. Or by using them together, you can actually cut the whole thing out to make it like a topper, which is what I'm going to do with mine this morning. The smaller one is a complete die, so that literally just cuts out the smaller elements. So this one's actually just a full set of metal. It's not got the 2 pieces in. So what we're going to do to start off with then is we're going to stamp the larger one out, and then I'm going to use the smaller one on a different piece of cardstock. So again, I always cut my piece of card larger than what I need it. This is actually just half. I just cut my sheets of Nina cardstock in half, and I use that to stamp on. And then I can decide whether I'm going to have it as a card front, whether I'm going to use the dies to cut them out. But if I've got this here at the ready, it means that I'm not sort of trying to position it too much within a specific area.
Okay.
So I've put my stamp facing down on there. Pick that up with my platform. Now, the main part of the stamp I've coloured with my alcohol markers. So again, just be mindful of which ink you're stamping with. And I always mention this because it's one of the biggest problems, I think, when people tell me that they can't stamp. It just makes me feel really sad, and I just think it's not you, it's possibly the products that you're using, and using the wrong ink to stamp your outline can have a knock-on effect on your colouring, and it all starts to bleed and it doesn't look very nice, and then people think, oh, I'm no good at stamping.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be mindful of what your colouring medium's going to be, and therefore what kind of ink you need to stamp your line art with. So in this case, I used my alcohol pens to colour, and I've used my alcohol proof finesse ink. I've got the Flagstone one again, which any of you that followed me for a while now know that that's probably my go-to one as opposed to the black. It's just a personal preference. It's not anything, you know, specific to what I'm doing. I just prefer that slightly softer outline rather than the black on a white card, unless I'm doing black and white as a theme, in which case I'd probably go for the black one. So yeah, just nice pressure all over there.
Okay.
And you can see we've got that beautiful image. Now I can just see over the top of here, there's a little bit at this side. I'm assuming the ink is still on my stamp, so I'm just going to give a bit more pressure down that side, and you can see how it brings all this to life. Absolutely gorgeous. So you've got a nice area there now that you can add colour to. And just before I put the platform away, I'm going to bring in, I've actually used one of the stamps. My card's actually going to be using craft card this morning. And I've gone for craft card on the inside as well.
Okay.
And what I thought we'd do is we'd stamp direct onto here with the little accent stamp that comes with it. Okay, so I'm actually going to pop that one on there as well. We'll take this one off. And then I'm just going to stamp that into the craft card. So I'm going to stick with the same ink. Not necessarily going to do a lot of colouring on this one. It just ties the two, you know, the front and back together. So again, get that one inked up. Using the same ink so that if I do decide to add a bit of colour to it, I'm safe with my pens. And we're just going to pop that in that top corner there. And then I'll come back to that one in a second.
Do the alcohol markers work differently on craft card to the Nina?
Yes, they do. Because the craft card is much more absorbent, it's very fibrous, so it does absorb the ink, which is why I wouldn't do a massive amount of colouring on there. And that's why I said I'm not sure whether I'm actually going to colour this in. I might do a little bit of spot colour, but it will soak up. You can use it, but it will soak up your ink and you use more ink.
Okay.
That's the only difference, really. So we'll pop those to one side. I'll come back to that one in a second and we'll bring this one back in. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time colouring because I have one that I've done. I want to show you those elements of metalwork to cut it out. So what I'm going to do is get a little bit of tape and we're going to secure these in place to pop it through our Gemini. So again, find the right side. Okay, and when we do this kind of thing, invariably the cutting edge of those pieces of metalwork is usually in the centre. So when I turn it over to use it, I know that my cutting edge runs down the centre of that piece of metalwork. So what I tend to do is make sure that I can see all my stamped image on the inside of the metal, and then I know that my sort of cutting line is going to be a little bit further out. It's about 1/8 of an inch further out, which gives you that nice white border around the edge of it.
Right. Okay.
And then once you're happy, get that taped in place. Now you can cut them both together. All right, so if you're not so confident with it, then do one and then replace it with the second one. I'm actually going to cut them both at the same time because they're designed, you'll see that they meet up like a jigsaw puzzle.
Right.
Okay, So again, I just want to make sure that I can see all my line art within that metal and then tape it in place. And I'm just going to bring up my Gemini plates there, pop that on there, and we'll pass that through our Gemini. Now they're a thin metal die, so they will go through any machine. If you don't own the Gemini, if you use another brand machine, they will work in all the machines.
I've got a question for you, Jan. It's
Yeah.
come from Kelly. She says, Jan and Becky, how long have you both been crafting and have known Sarah?
Ooh,
So how long has it been?
how bizarre. I didn't notice that was in there. I'm very, very lucky that that wasn't on the top of the die. But yeah, somebody's left it.
Oh.
It was attached. It was attached to the magnetic shim. Yeah, very lucky that that wasn't actually on the metalwork there. Right, sorry, Becky, how long?
How long have you been crafting and how long have you known Sarah?
Right, crafting a very, very long time, over 20 years now, which sort of gives away. I got into it when I started working in school. One of my work colleagues in school actually sent me a handcrafted card for my 40th birthday.
Yeah.
And I was just blown away that she'd made it. I was like, seriously? And I investigated literally every possible aspect of this card, and I still have it to this day for the sentimental value. And of course, it was like, I've always been crafty. It's like I've always knitted and crocheted, and my mum was a seamstress, so she taught us all how to sew when we were younger. So yeah, it was off. I went to the craft shop and bought a kit, and then, you know, the rest of it is just history. It's gone along the way. I started out stamping, colouring, which is still one of my loves now, and scrapbooking. When my children were little, I did a lot of scrapbooking.
Okay.
And then progressed on to card making, mixed media, ATCs, home decor, you know, the whole, anything to do with paper and mixed media, and I'm in there. So yeah, quite a while. I didn't actually meet Sarah until I came to work for the company, which was 7 years ago. Obviously, I was aware of her, and I was a customer of Crafters Companion for quite a long time. I'd seen her on, you know, on different mediums, but didn't actually meet her until we opened our retail outlet in Chesterfield.
Okay.
And we went along to a recruitment day, which Debbie Robinson will tell you a hilarious story about the fact that she didn't realise it was a recruitment day. She just came along for, you know, for a sort of a nosy round. But yeah, they were actually looking for staff for the new store. They were looking for new DT members, and they were looking for craft demonstrators as well. So the first person that we had to go and set up stall, and the first person that came to see me was our Leanne, and I was like knees shaking under the table because like, I actually had shivers, you know. And the first thing she asked me was, why are you not on our design team? Was the very first, when she saw all my samples that I'd put out, which was a beautiful compliment. I'm like, I don't know, you know, like this. But yeah, the outcome of that was actually getting a job. I was supervisor at the Chesterfield store for 2 years before I moved into this element of the job. And I also did all the training to be a craft demonstrator.
Okay.
So I'm on the demonstration team as well, which prior to the pandemic, we were going out pretty much every month out into the world, into maybe garden store chains, into some of the other crafts shops, to do demonstrations for the public, and I loved that side of the job. And then of course the pandemic hit, and it just knocked all that out. We couldn't do it anymore. It is slowly building again. Some of our demonstrators are out and about now, and they're back out in the world doing their thing, obviously showing off the new Gemini 2, and it is building again. So hopefully that will come back, but I really love that element, and that was my first sort of contact, obviously in the store, and then doing the demonstrating. And then my name was put forward for this role, and came and did the test for this, and the rest of it's history. This is nearly the end of my 5th year now, TV demonstrating, which I don't know where the time's gone. I really don't, and I love every single minute of it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that's the story for any of you that don't know me, that's just come across me. Prior to that, I worked in primary school for 14 years and did my time, as I say. All that was done as an older student. I went back to school when I was, how old was I? I was 40 plus.
Right.
No, I had my 40th birthday when I went into school. So yeah, almost 40. I went back to school as a a mature student
Wow.
and did all my training.
That's quite a tough ask as well. I
It
think.
was, because I was in a classroom with all these children, well, I say children, all these young adults that had just done their exams, and they were then going on to do the next level of their education. And there's me there that was like, Mom. But then that's me all over. I've been mom to all my children's friends, and they still call me Mama B now. To this day. Well, somebody once asked me in the supermarket, how many children do you actually have? Only two. Only two. The rest of them are inherited.
But I think your teaching skills really come out when you demonstrate. My mum was watching and she messaged me. She was like, the lady you were on with, she was amazing. The way you impart your knowledge is so incredible, because you could tell immediately that you were a teacher.
Yeah, I just feel very privileged to be in a position where not only do I do what I love for a living, but I can now share that with hundreds and thousands of crafters pretty much across the world. It blows me away sometimes when people were messaging. I know we've got a massive audience in the United States. I know we've got people over in Australia, including our Sarah, that I think watches nearly every show, bless her. And across Europe, we'll get people that are in Germany. We've got people that, that are and I just think the fact that we're stood here in little old Northern England in the rain, well, not in the rain, but it's usually raining outside, and we're going out and being able to communicate with that massive, massive range. And it is a very privileged position. But again, being able to do what we love and share that with other the crafting community, when I came across it, I don't think I've ever known such a friendly community out there. It's like you bump into a crafter and they've always got something to share or something to talk about. So yeah, it's been a very, very, very pleasant journey.
Oh, long may it last.
Yeah.
That's
what about
brilliant.
you?
Yeah. Oh. Well, I've always crafted. Everyone in my family makes stuff, I think would be the thing to say. I've got film props, costumes, a glass artist, very famous graffiti artist. It's not Banksy. I'm just saying it's not Banksy. And so everybody has always made things, and it's just quite a normal kind of thing. I mean, I remember people coming over to my house as a child, and they were like, "What should we do?" And I was like, "Oh, should we pick something with clay? We can vac form that and make it into a mask." And they'd be like, "What?" And because I just was used to having all these things, so it's just come from that. But I didn't meet Sarah until I came up here for my interview. Yeah. And I came up, and I've been here for 2 years. It was my 2-year anniversary on Monday. I came up after they watched me on a show on another channel. And I think there was a Sunday, got a message on the Tuesday, say come up, came up on the Thursday, had my interview on Friday, met Sarah then. Yeah. That was it.
I know Sarah came to open the Chesterfield store when we opened it, and she was very, very, very pregnant with little Charlie at the time, bless her. And she literally come and waddled in, and she's like, oh my goodness. And every time we weren't doing photo opportunities and what have you, she's like, I can't cope. And I think that was the same year that she went down to the palace as well, wasn't it, for her award? Because I know the photos from there, she was literally very almost due.
Well, I think she had the baby the next day, didn't
Something
she?
like that, yes. And she went down and met Prince William to receive her award. And,
amazing.
Very, very pregnant. I still remember that.
Oh, they're good stories. I have got a question for you in a minute, but we'll go through that in a second. We'll get going on that demo.
Yeah. So what I've done then is I've actually done the colouring, because I didn't necessarily want to focus on this part just at this moment. So you can see where we've cut it out. That was what cut out with the edge pieces. And then I've taken my tri-blend pens and done the colouring to show you what it looks like. But I'm reluctantly actually going to cover this up because I want to show you other aspects.
Okay.
So let's get this onto the front of a card blank to start off with, and I've just kept it very simple. I've done a top fold with some of my craft card. I've matted inlaid in a couple of colours that I've pulled out from here. So I've got the red satin cardstock in the background there from the luxury card packs. And then just a little, this is actually the reverse of one of the Christmas papers. So I'm going to pop that one on the front, and I'm going to use a little bit of wet glue because that craft card is so fibrous.
You find it quite confusing because we've got so many different ink pads, and so perhaps that's something we can go through throughout the rest of the day in the shows.
If you if you have access to YouTube, and have a look on YouTube for Crafter's Companion and look for Ink Pads 101.
Okay.
And there will be, I know I've done them, and I know some of the other team have done whole shows just on ink pads. Leanne will most definitely have done one of them. And that's a great opportunity if you've got time to just watch through and show you. There are a lot of ink pads, and I must admit it does get a little bit confusing. I know that was one of the questions I used to get asked most when I worked at the store, was which ink pad do I use for which, you know, purpose, and they do all have their own purpose. So yeah, if you can find Inkpad 101s or an Inkpad masterclass, we will spend the whole of that show, that 2-hour period, talking about the different ink pads and their functions.
Okay.
Any that I use today, I will try and explain what I'm using for them and why.
Brilliant.
So the one that we just talked about was to use with my alcohol colouring. Which means that this particular alcohol-proof ink is water-based, because obviously the solvent from the pens and the water-based ink don't mix. So it means that your line art stays put. If I was to use something that had an alcohol base in it with an alcohol pen, the minute the alcohol from the pen touched the line art, it would start and bleed into it. So there are two main stamping inks, alcohol-proof, waterproof, all right? And if I use any of the others throughout the day, I'll actually go through those as we do them.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Again, I'm going to pop on in fact, I'll do the tape pen purely because I want it to be dry. I don't want it to move out for the next bit. So going back to what I said earlier, if you're not particularly into colouring, don't be put off by a set of stamps that have been designed to colour, because there's always a way round something. So your card could be as simple as this. All right, that one layer on here, I've used one of the sentiments from that same stamp set and stamped it directly onto the front of the card. A little bit of bling, you know me, it's got to have a bit of bling.
Absolutely.
But then what I've done is I've stamped onto some patterned paper. So I've just used I used the whole stamp again, stamped it onto pattern paper, and I've stamped it twice and just cut out elements of it. So the first one, I literally, where I've coloured all this in red, I've just cut round the bow, and I've cut right up to the outline of the stamp. I've not left the white. I want the white to be on the base layer. So that this will literally, and I know it seems a shame to cover it up when I've spent the time colouring it, but it was like a dual purpose. You can see now that we've got that element in there. So the largest part of the colouring in that stamp is the bow. You know, you may be able to sort of just colour the leaves and things in. And we're now actually going to cover this with that paper. So what I've done is I've popped some foam pads on the back, and we're basically going to create our own decoupage with it. So just stamping certain parts out and cutting them out, we can start and layer them up now to create literally that nice decoupage feature on the front. So I'm just going to take the backs off my foam pads there, and I've just used them and just cut them down in these little tiny thin bits so that we can anchor all those pieces and not have them, I don't want them to get damaged because they're very, very little fine pieces there. So we'll just take the backs off those. And then this one is going to go down first. So just straight over, I've taken it right up to the line art of the stamp. So I'm just going to literally line it up. And even if I'm doing this, I like to put a bit of colour around the edge, because you can just see when I lift it, you can see the edge of the stamp underneath, unless you're going to lay this one flat. So I do, if nothing else, I like to just put a bit of colour around the outline so that you can see it underneath. And then I've used some different coloured, these are just pieces of scrap paper, and I've just done the two little bells in the centre there and done those in some yellow card, and I've just inked round them to give them a little bit of an illusion that they're not flat. And then I've popped some gold thread behind them. You can just see, if I pop it on the white card there, you can just see I've just put as if they're actually hung on the thread. So again, I've popped some foam pads behind here. Okay, so we're going to pop those next over the space where they are on the stamp here and layer theirs up. Now this is actually going to be trapped under the bow so that it looks as if they're hung from the bow. So again, I've taken that top section and cut this one. A little bit of bling, of course, it's got to have bling. And I want to keep the centre of the bow flat so that we've got a little bit of dimension. You can see there how I've sort of curved the edges. So again, take those foam pad backs off. And then I've just put a little bit of red line tape in the centre to keep that flat. And that's going to anchor those pieces of thread there. So again, just want to give that a little bit of a shape. Make sure those are in the centre there. Line it up and pop that one down. Okay. And you can see now that we've created our own. If I just lift it slightly, you can see we've got those layers where we've got the decoupage. And then I don't think I'm going to do anything with that inside piece. You could add a little bit of colour if you wish, but I think I'm just going to pop this inside just to link them together with that extra stamp piece. Again, you could stamp it onto paper and do the same as what, not necessarily the decoupage, but maybe just one layer on the inside. It may be that you want to colour the bows and the foliage, the streamers, and then just colour the bow in to give it some spot colour. There's so many different, you know, ways that you can do this. Again, I've just inked around this to save using more red card to link it to the front.
Yeah.
And again, you know, you've got that beautiful piece there that's just as nice as if you sat and spent, you know, however long colouring it in with your pens. Little bit of colouring around the edge with either pens or, you know, if you prefer the colouring pencils. Absolutely. If you decide to go with any aqua-based pens, any water-based pens, don't forget to change that original stamping ink to your waterproof one.
Okay.
So again, if I turn you that one round, you can just see there that lovely Christmas bow in all its glory with the little bells on there, and then just linking it to that inside piece with the stamp section inside.
That's brilliant. Love it. Excellent. I've got a really nice message. I think we're going to call it a Jan Love Day.
Oh.
Sarah Brown says, I remember meeting you, Jan, on a Monday Makers show a few years ago, and I have to say you made me feel like I'd done a great job with my makes. Plus, I think we also had a few laughs along the way with everybody. I remember thinking you're such a great teacher and demonstrating. I loved you ever since.
Oh, bless you, Sarah. We love you too, my darling. We do. She is an sort of, I don't think I've ever done a show where she's not been watching.
No.
So
it's always,
thank you.
So it's always nice to hear that you make a difference, isn't it?
It is, and I think that was more evident than anything when we had the pandemic. I mean, that was unlike anything we'd ever seen here, you know, in the world in my lifetime. And I think a lot of people discovered Crafters TV at that time, and they've stayed with us, you know, as customers, and we're, like I say, we're in a very privileged position that we can give you that interaction, and I know it does make a difference. I've had people message me on my social media, you know, and they've said, you know, that it gives them a lifeline kind of thing, especially if you're at home on your own. And we're very, very aware of that, and the fact that we've got that an instant interaction. It's not like sending a message in and it being answered in a week's time. Yeah. You've got that instant interaction with us, which is a really, really nice part of the job.
It is, definitely. We've got a few more questions, but I'm just going to do a quick recap on here, and I'll ask those questions in just a moment. So these are the stamp and die sets that you've just seen Jan using. This first one is your Bring Out the Bells. So you can see you've got all of those metal dies as well as those stamps and sentiments. This next one is your Winter Blessings. Then we are going to the Festive Poinsettia. This is your Christmas Bow, which is one you've just seen Jan use. This next one is your Festive Banner. And then finally we have Cozy by Candlelight. £26 or $30, platinum price is £20.80 or $24 for all of those. We are going to go for a quick break, and we'll give the opportunity for you to check out your baskets, and we will see you in a couple of moments.
Hi, I'm Ben from Crafters TV. As you may know, we've just launched an amazing new website, our new home of papercraft to house all of your crafty needs. And as we've had a bit of a makeover, I'm here today to help you add those crafty goodies to your basket and check out. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. First, head on over to the Crafters Companion homepage. Select the correct geographical location at the top of the page. Next, log into your My Crafters account. Explore the site and products using the navigation bar at the top of the screen. When you find the product you want, add to your basket by clicking the Add to Basket button. You'll then have the option to view your basket or continue shopping. If you want to check out, click View Your Basket. Here you can see the list of items you've added along with the order summary on the right-hand side of the screen. This is also where you'll see your loyalty discount. And just remember, the price you're seeing at this stage is excluding any delivery charges. This will also be your opportunity to add any discount codes you may have. Simply type in the code, hit apply, and if your code is valid, you should see the correct amount of discount deducted from your order total. Once you're happy to go ahead with your order, click the Proceed to Checkout button in the summary box on the right-hand side of your screen. If you want to use ShopPay, PayPal or Google Pay, you can select the relevant option under Express Checkout and you'll be given instructions on how to check out. If you have a gift card, you can enter the code on the right-hand side of the screen and press Apply. You should see the correct amount of discount deducted from your total. If you'd like to pay by card, the details linked to your account should appear in the relevant fields. If these aren't showing, you'll need to fill out the correct details. When you've entered your payment information, click the Continue to Shipping button at the bottom of the screen. Select your preferred shipping option, click Continue to Payment. Here you can enter your card details or select ShopPay, PayPal or ClearPay. Next, make sure the correct billing address is entered under the billing address section, or if this is the same as your shipping address, then you'll have the option to select it. Click Pay Now, and that's it. You'll be taken to a thank you page with an order number, and you'll also receive a confirmation email with the details of your Crafty purchase, which will be on its way to you very soon.
If you love Crafters TV, we've made it easy for you to watch us wherever you are. Whether you catch us on your tablets or take us with you on your mobile phone, it's easy to watch us anywhere. From here to here. Maybe don't watch us here. It would be easy to watch us here. Probably the easiest place to watch us is here. Crafters TV, with you wherever you are.
We get to know people from places and walks of life that we wouldn't come across in our everyday life if it wasn't for Crafters TV and doing what we do.
I got so many lovely comments from people when I started doing the presenting, and it was just really such a lovely feeling. And it's nice that people keep messaging in. You know, we see the same people, and we know you can build up that kind of relationship with those people. So it's just the fact that people like what we do and they're pleased. And I do love it when people send us photographs of the items that they've made.
We talk about customers, but really they go in as a customer, come out as a friend. The support that I get is amazing. The messages I get are amazing.
Me personally, it is personal interaction. I've never had the best of health. I've always been open about that with our viewers at Crafters TV. So many people are in the same situation as me health-wise. Other people have got a completely different health issues. They understand and they relate to what I'm going through, what others are going through. So whether we interact on a crafting basis or whether we interact on a health basis, a personal basis, we're all there to support one another. It is incredible.
The reaction of viewers when they come to meet us is worth all of the early mornings when we have to get up for our early morning shows.
Some of the customers come on as craft ambassadors and things like that, craft along with us, and being able to actually chat with them on air. I love it. I really love that connection with them.
We've had lots of shows where we've done like craft alongs, especially where we've had viewers craft along with us. We had a particular viewer, Joy, who joined us once before, and she literally made me cry on air, and Joe, because the things she said about us, it really was quite humbling that there are people out there that watch us and invite us into their living rooms and really treat us like family.
Hello everybody, welcome back. I do love watching those little VTs, and like I said before, I'd look at that and think, oh my goodness, look at my hair. Looks totally different. I think every single one of us does exactly the same. We've all had a lot of different hairstyles in the last year, I reckon. The next thing we're going to have a look at are our multi-craft or multimedia applique dies. So these have been originally created to be working with fabric, but actually because they're multimedia dies, they will cut anything. Well, not anything. I mean, you know, can't put, I don't know, bricks in there, but you can use them for paper, card, felt, cork, all sorts of different things. You know, don't put books through your Gemini, they don't work. It's not recommended. Now the first one is your sort of nativity characters. These are actually much larger than you can see from the images. They're actually almost 4 inches square. They're huge. They're not that big. They'll never fit the Gemini. That is your nativity scene. So you've got Mary and Joseph, baby Jesus and the 3 kings. This one is your festive friends, I think these were called, yeah, festive friends, with Santa, Mrs. Claus, and those elves, and the little snowman and gingerbread man. And then this one is your festive animals. Now, I think we decided that this is actually not a llama, as Nicola thought. It is a mouse. We did check last week to make sure that it was a mouse, but really, really cute. You're going to get all of the dies in there. If we turn around to the back, you can see you're going to get all these outer shaped dies to make those sort of stars, but all those other little tiny dies to create the animals. And this whole collection of 3 different types is just £38 or $49. Your platinum price is £30.40 or $39.20. Jan, these are gorgeous, aren't they?
They are, honestly. I had these with me last week and they were very, very well received. So we asked if we could actually do them again, and our Emma's actually extended the collection because I didn't have the festive friends with me last week, and these are perfect for this time of year. So again, lots of different ways to use them. Like Becky's just said, it does say that they're a multi-craft die, or sometimes referred to as a mixed media die. And the reason for that is because the actual metalwork is slightly deeper cut. So the edging that does the cutting through the medium that you're using is slightly deeper. So when you see our Gemini shows and we have the board that's got all those different mediums, including felt, corkboard, leather, faux leather, cotton fabrics, hessier, you name it, the list is pretty much going on and on and on.
Yeah.
These will cut all of those particular mediums. Now I'm going to stick with the cardstock today because as a paper crafter I wanted to be able to bring these into my paper crafting world. Now they don't come on the magnetic sheet. This is actually one of mine from home. Because there's such a lot of metal work in these, I was struggling to sort of get them back on and off the plastic sheet, the acetate sheet. So I've just put them onto one of my own magnetic storage. And then in here you also get, and I think this is probably one of the best things that they've done with these collections, you get like a cheat sheet. So first of all, it shows you what all these bits of metal do. So you can see you've got your star shape for the background, and then it shows you which elements. So gingerbread, Santa's hair and beard, the elf faces, the snowman hat, the Christmas, all the different pieces, the little girl's elf hair, the boy, and all right down to the little tiny pieces. So you can identify all your pieces of metal to start off with. Then it goes through each of the characters in turn. You get 6 different characters, and it shows you which components you need to put them together for all 6 of them. If I flip this over, you can see the other 3 on the back. So starting out with the star, and then how to layer up the necessary pieces to create your character. So we're going to stick with Father Christmas today, and I'm going to stick with the cardstock. Now, because they're a slightly deeper die, what I tend to do is, you know that I'm always talking about using up my scraps of textured card. So whenever I've used this, it all goes into a box in colours, of course, because it's Jan's OCD-ness. And then I attach it to some scrap multi-purpose cards. So I've got well over probably, what, 3, 4, 5, about 550 GSM here, which makes these, you know, sort of come into their own. The reason I do that is because to just go through one or the other, it's doable. Absolutely no problem. You could put 2 layers of your textured cardstock together. But if you just used a single layer, it would cut through it without any problems whatsoever. But what you tend to find, especially if you're using a Gemini, is that it will sort of, the pressure will embed the die into your plate because there's that little bit of raised element. So sometimes I've ended up like trying to prise this out of the plate because it's left quite a decent piece of scarring. So by increasing the material that you're cutting, makes that happen less.
Okay.
So I've got a lot of these pieces cut out, but I will show you that star so that you can see how nicely they cut. And again, I'm going to try and do something different. I'm just trying to think what I did last week. We made a tree decoration last week with some of them. And then we did the little characters, didn't we, on the lollipop
we did,
sticks.
in the funky foam.
The mouse and the Froggo on the funky foam, yes. So I thought we'd try something different again today. So again, with them being a deeper metal die, we need to adjust this combination again. So because the pressure doesn't change in our Gemini, we have to alter what goes through the Gemini. So as far as mixed media is concerned, it's all the M's, you're going to take out the magnetic shim. Okay?
Okay.
And all I'm going to do is put my frosted shim and my top one on there to pass it through the Gemini. So what we've done is we've compensated for the die being thicker by taking one of the thicknesses of the plates out of that combination. If you put them all in together, you will probably find, especially if you're using the Gemini, that it will reject them and send them back out towards you, which is a true warning that something's not quite right. It's not like the plate combination. Do a double check. But you can see there that's gone straight through without any problem whatsoever, and we've got our nice, and I just love the fact that when you're using dies, you've got that lovely beveled edge on there. So I stuck these two layers together with my Collal all-purpose because this is very, very strong as well. But leave time for it to dry. It's like I stuck mine together, I don't know, it was yesterday or the day before, and left it to dry on here, because the last thing you want to do is for elements of that glue to squidge out while you're die cutting and end up on your plates or inside your Gemini. So do make sure it's dry before you start and pass it through the machines to cut it. So we've got our piece there that's going to be our background layer. And I've actually got one that I did at home. I might pop them back to back so that we've got green on the back. I'm not sure yet. All right, so we'll leave those for the time being. And then what I've done is I've followed all the details here, and I've cut out, doing the same method, scraps of card out of my stash, stuck onto the white multi-purpose, because that's the thickest card that I have in my stash. And we've got the little face there, okay? I've also cut the body, and you might think, well, it looks very odd. Why does it look like that? But it's designed to fit around the bottom of the star perfectly. So you can see there, the shape's already done. So we've got the body there. And then moving on, I've used some white cardstock, and again, just popped it onto the plain white, just the same. I've used textured white, and I've got his beard and his little moustache, and then the little pom-pom for the end of his Christmas hat. Now, if you're crafting with the children, whether they be your children or your grandchildren, these are absolutely amazing. Now, I've tried these dies in my Mini, my Gemini Mini, and they do work in just the folder for the Mini.
Okay.
So again, we've got his little Christmas hat there. We'd already done the bobble to go on the top. And then I've also, just out of that peachy tone, I've done the little tiny circles. It's going to be his nose. And then for the eyes, there isn't actually a die for the eyes. So again, you can colour them in by hand. But I've just taken a couple of my little pearls, my little black gems there. And we're going to use those for his eyes. So really, really straightforward to pop together. I'm just going to use some of my tacky glue to actually pop all these layers together. It dries a bit quicker than the... you could use your Collal all-purpose, but this dries a little bit quicker. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the star, and I'm going to pop his body on first. And again, if you're not sure what order to put them together, just have a look at that cheat sheet and follow the details on there. So it tells me to put his body down at the bottom, and I'm going to line that up with the edge of the star. And then we're going to pop his head in place as well, which is just slightly overlapped. Not too much, but it's just going to rest on top of here. And I am literally following, I'll pop this at the side of me so that you can see, literally following what I've got on here. So this is where we've got to so far. Just make sure that's all stuck down. And then when we go on to the next piece, it tells me to add his beard. So we're going to pop this one over the top. But before that, I'm just going to, because his hat's behind there, I'm literally just going to stick this one down first. Now, if you want to raise any of this up on foam pads to elevate it, you can. What really looks nice is decorated both sides. You could have Santa Claus on one side, Mrs. Claus on the other side, and then pop a little eyelet in the top and have them as hanging decorations.
That's
either
a great
for the tree,
idea.
or you could make mobiles with these. We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
So many different things. And as I say, I'm just using cardstock. The ones that we did last week, we had the funky foam out. It may be that you've got felt in your stash. These cut lovely through felt, and anything, any kind of fabrics that you may have. It may be that you want to use a different type of material. You know, you might want to do a vintage Santa and cut his beard out of maybe Hessian or something like that. So yes, so many different ways that we can use them. So this one's just going to line up so that I can see a little bit of the face, and then the top of this acts as the fluff on his hat as well. So that's that one.
Lynn Blackledge says she likes to use googly eyes.
Yes, I think we did those on the frog last week, didn't we?
I do love
meant to
googly
put
eyes.
those in my bag and I forgot actually, because I've been having a tidy up. Wonders never cease. I had to. I got to the point where I was going to break my neck trying to get in there. I sent my husband, it was bin day last week, I think it was, and I said to him, I says, I've got all my any scrap cardboard goes in a separate bin so that we can put it in the recycling bin. And I said to him, he says, oh, go get it. I says, please be careful. I've got visions of him laid out in there because it was just horrendous. So yeah, I have had a bit of a tidy up, and I did pop these away, otherwise I'd have brought the others back. But I was here Friday, I think it was last week. So again, if you have a look back at Friday's shows last week, we had these on and we did the other elements then. So his little moustache, again, I'm going to pop, just doing it all with the glue. But again, if you want to raise it further than that, you can actually pop it in with some foam pads. So I'm just going to position that one in here. And then I'm going to put a little bit in here for his nose and a couple of bits for his eyes. So we've got just the little tiny piece there in the same colour his skin is going to be for the nose. Oops.
I love the fact you've got so many different elements to all of these in the dies.
Yeah.
It makes it really useful, doesn't it?
I mean, you could probably even come up with some of your own characters. You know, it's, might need a little tiny bit of a foam pad behind that one because it's raised up over the moustache, but we'll see if it sticks. Okay, and then I'm just going to pop the little black ones on there for his eyes. So I thought what we'd do with that this time then, so that's him actually made. What I thought we'd do this time is I've got a little tiny 6x4 card here, and I've just been in my stash just for some bits of, this is actually like a glittery washi tape that I've got in my stash, so just to add a bit of detail. And I'm actually going to pop this sort of popping off the top of here, so I don't need any glue at the top. I'm just going to pop it lower down. And I thought they'd be great to make as little Christmas table settings.
That's a great idea.
So yeah, if you like to decorate your Christmas table, you could do one of these. You could do the different characters, or you could do a themed set, and you could actually have them as part of your Christmas table decoration, so that where people are going to sit. So all I did with mine, because I hadn't got a massive amount of room here, I thought we'll just use the initial letter of my little guy's name. So my Toby, and we're just going to put the T for Toby on, which he's learning his letters now. He knows such a lot of them, bless him, and his numbers.
And how old is he?
He's only 3.5. He would normally have gone to nursery this September, but Mommy is doing a fabulous job at the beginning of his home education journey, which we've been involved in because we have them when Mommy's at work.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's learning his numbers. He knows a lot of his letters. He's doing great, bless him. Really proud of him. He's taken to it. I always think children are ready for an education.
Yeah.
He just absorbs everything. So yeah, what activity are we doing today, Nanny? You know, so yeah,
they're like little sponges.
The crafting has to come out, doesn't it? So a lot of what we've done has been incorporating crafting. But you can just see there, you know, imagine one of those in everybody's, that you could have all your plate settings out, your napkins out, and then one of those on the top for each person. But again, could just be a Christmas card. You know, if you don't want to use the lettering, you could actually put a greeting on there. I just think, especially for the children, well, and big children. I mean, my children are grown up, but they'd still be delighted with something like this on their table setting. So
Brilliant.
that was Festive Friends, that one, is from the kit there.
I think that's really inspiring. I love the idea of doing that. I think I might have to adopt that idea myself. Or pinch it from Jan, basically, aren't I? Let's be honest.
Welcome. That's what we're here for.
Lynn says, I had great fun making these characters on stars, bunting or hanging decorations to the tree.
Yep.
Lois says, very sweet card. Thank you, Jan. That looks really good, really effective. I was thinking maybe what I would do is I'd get passport photos of people, use them as the face and just put the Santa hats on them.
Cool,
that might be quite good.
As I say, your mind just goes into overdrive. There are so many different ways that you could use them.
But then that's why these shows are so good, because it's all about inspiring people and coming up with ideas. And I think when you're saying about the crafting community being so kind, actually you're very generous with sharing ideas, which I think is really quite key. So I do love that. You're really lovely. All right, I'm going to show you these again because you're after watching that, you're definitely going to want to pop these in your basket. These are your multi-craft applique animal selection. So these are your festive animals. So they all are around about the same kind of size. They're around about 4 inches square with that little star. Then you've got your nativity characters. So sort of more traditional and kind of nativity scene. You can build them. And then finally, you've got the festive friends. So you've got Santa, Mrs. Santa, and then you've also got the pixie, the elves, gingerbread man, and the snowman. £38 or $49. Platinum price is £30.40 or $39.20. The next thing we're going to show you are the Christmas corner dies. These are absolutely beautiful. And actually, when Tracy handed them to me, I went, "Oh, I think I need these." Which is my often used saying. But I think these are so useful. They're so usable. I've seen people using these on boxes as well as cards, scrapbooking as well. I think, I like things that you can use in multiple different ways. This first one is your snow crystals. So your kind of snowflakey images. And I like the fact that you've got 2 different corners in each one of these. This next one is your entwined holly. Very pretty there. I think on one of the samples Jan had, it almost looked like the berries were raised. They almost looked like proper berries. I don't know whether they had like glossy highlights on them. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
the red glitter glue in there.
Ring out your bells. That one with this kind of scroll and the ribbon. This next one is your Christmas decor or your baubles. Do you call them baubles in America? Ornaments. Baubles over here. And next one is your candy cane. Beautiful candy. I love a candy cane at Christmas. Actually, I'd like a candy cane at any point in the year. And the final one is your Poinsettia Splendor. And this is £32 or $43. Platinum price is £25.60 or $34.40. Is there anything I don't need? No, I need it all. I need it all. I want it all. I'm like Sharpay from High School Musical. What are you going to be doing with these,
You're
Jan?
in good company, Becky. You're in good company. We understand. My husband will be like, you don't need any more paper pads, Jan. It's like if I go anywhere local, I just can't resist them.
No.
I just love paper, honestly. So yeah, we're going to use those snow crystals. And again, we have an hour dedicated to these later on in the day where I'm going to again try and show you some different ways to use them. But just for the purpose of the demo here, we're literally going to go with that concept of using them as a corner basically. So in your set, you're going to get 2 separate pieces and they are different designs. And that's when I first opened these, I thought, oh, that's unusual because there's nothing to stop you cutting this 2, 3, 4 times if you want them to match, like maybe all 4 corners of a square card. There's nothing to stop you doing the same with this one. I am actually just going to use this one in my demo just now, but they look beautiful. If you look at the inspiration on here, you can see that we've used both of them and they work together. They've got the same elements, just slightly different structure. So I am just going to use the smaller one of the squarer one, should I say, of the 2. And these come up roughly at just under 3 inches tall by just over 2. So they're a nice size to fit on most of your card styles, whether it be, this is just a little 4x6. You can see that it goes on there nicely. You've got room to have one in each corner. And again, up to your 5x7s, your square cards, you know, whatever it is you're doing. So what I've got is I've got a little scrap left over, and this was actually our white multi-purpose card that I've sprayed with our silver spray and sparkle. So I don't know whether the camera can see.
Yep.
It's just got that lovely little bit of lustre on there. And obviously let that dry.
That's a good word, lustre.
Have a look. A little bit of lustre, yeah. We love a bit of sparkle, don't we? So I'm going to pop my die on there, and it is literally just the piece I had left because I've cut 2 of these already. I need 3 for what I'm going to do. So again, and these will go through your Gemini Mini. So they're all small enough to go through the Mini. Having said that, I've not got my Mini out, so I'm just going to pop them on those smaller plates again with my necessary shims and pass those through our Gemini. And I always add that whereas our range is designed obviously for our die cutting machine, our Geminis, they will fit through any die cutting machine. They are just a thin metal die. So any of the machines that you've got out there, if you're not using a Gemini, they will still work. So again, if we take that tape away from here, and we've got the most gorgeous little intricate elements now that we can use in our paper crafting. So one of these is usually what I call a release hole, so it actually makes contact with the back of the die. So once I've got that bit free, I usually just gently tease it out from the back of the die. Now some of those pieces have stayed in there, I can clean that up later, and then there's always 1 or 2 that likes to cling in there. So just with my pokey tool, we'll quickly pop those pieces out. They're all cut beautifully. Just make sure we've got all of those. You can use your die brushes if you prefer to use those as a means of getting the pieces out. But just make sure we've got all those little elements out. And again, as I say, you've got the most gorgeous decorative pieces. And I think there's no end of times where I've made a project and I've just stood back and looked at it and thought, just wants that bit of something. And you'll all know, you know, that we tend to stick a butterfly in that space. But if you're making Christmas cards, these are perfect just to fill that little gap. And I think just done in the white there, and I can just see in the studio lights here that little bit of sparkle. And what I've done is I've made 3. I've done 3 of these. So we've actually got them all the same, done out of the same cardstock, and I need 3 for my project. Okay? So we'll just pop those up there for a second, and I'm going to pop my card together. Now I've actually got 3 pieces of 5 3/4 square, which is about the largest square that we can make out of a piece of our A4 cardstock. So I've cut that 3 times, and then I've actually turned them onto one of the diagonal points and scored them down the centre to make myself that triangular fold.
Okay.
Okay. And I've done that 3 times. So they've all got that same fold in them. And we're going to make that TP style card, which is really, really easy to do once you've got your pieces together. So I'm going to take 2 of them. I'm going to keep them flat. All right, I've got my vertical diagonal line, and I'm just going to tip it slightly, and I'm going to line up those score lines so that I've got that sort of arrowhead. And this one's going to stick with the points matching here, and the score lines showing, and I'm going to stick this element here. So I'm just going to put my finger about there, which is about where I need to bring my glue, and I'm going to use the tape runner again because I need this to dry so that we can move on to decorate. So just in that top section.
It's literally just 3 pieces all exactly the same size.
Exactly the same. So they're all 5 3/4. You can make them any size. They don't have to be 5 3/4, but that's the largest square I can get. Well, I could make a 6-inch square. I could make a 7 or an 8-inch square, but I get 2 of these then out of 1 sheet of A4. Right. That's why I went for the 5 3/4. So yeah, so I've got my 2 triangles and I've got my diagonal going across the middle here. So I've actually turned it so that the diagonal on this one is going in the opposite direction. So I've got created like that arrowhead with the score lines. I'm going to line up the points at the top, and I'm just going to line it up to the edge of that score line. I don't want to go over the score line because I still want it to bend. And then make sure all that glue has made contact. So you've now got this this is going to be one side of our TP card.
Okay.
Okay, so then I'm going to turn it again so that this one's now going in the same orientation, and I'm going to do the same with this piece. So again, I need to go down to about here with my tape. And the reason I've stopped there is because this bit's not actually stuck to anything. So if you end up with tape on that section, it's going to get a little bit messy when you come to close it. So again, I've got one diagonal going this way. I've got the other diagonal coming to create that arrowhead again. I'm going to line up those points at the top. Again, I can just see my score line visible. I haven't stuck it over the score line because if I do, when you actually come to close it, you'll get your cardstock stuck out over the edge. So what I mean by that is when I fold this now, I've got a nice flush edge. If you go over the score line, you're going to get like a piece of card sticking out, which, you know, not the end of the world. You can actually trim it if that happens. But we've now got one side, two sides, and then this one is going to fold over here to make our third side, to make our little TP design.
Fantastic.
Okay.
That looks so
And then
effective.
Decorating, all right, I'm just going to use my pencil to make sure. So mine's going to fold over like that. So I don't want anything sticking on this one. I'm going to work on 1, 2, 3 sides because that side is going to overlap this one.
Okay, yep.
So just made a note that I don't need anything on there. As far as the actual triangles, the easiest way I've found to do this is to think about your matting and layering. If this is a 5 3/4 square, I tend to come down in 1/4 of an inch increments. So my first mat would be 5 1/2 inches. So I've done that in some blue card, okay, and I've come down that 1/4 of an inch, which is normally what I would use to mat and layer. And then I've literally gone diagonally and cut it into the 2 triangles. And then come down 1/4 of an inch again. So we've gone from 5 3/4 to 5 1/2. I'm now going to come down to 5 1/4 and do the same with my patterned paper and then cut it diagonally. And you should just have the right size then to mat and layer inside your triangles, and it will leave you that little white border all the way around again. So again, I'm going to go back to my wet glue this time because we're just doing a plain cardstock to a plain cardstock. Now this is actually from our Snow Queen paper pack, which was perfect for this. It's exactly what I wanted. I wanted that nice frosty look with those snowflakes. So again, that nice ice blue was just the job. I knew before I even started it where I was heading with it. Sometimes I'll get going and then think, oh, what paper pad am I going to use? But sometimes it's like, yeah, that's what I want.
You know, straight away.
So again, I'm just going to rotate. These are all going to go on that same way. So we've got one here. I'm going to have one here. So that one's going to go on. Now my paper did have a slight orientation to it. So just be aware that if you have a very specific pattern, you will end up with some of it turned.
So better to use something more abstract. You wouldn't use stripes, for example.
It can get a little bit confusing, I must admit. I'm not too worried, and if I didn't point it out, you probably wouldn't notice. But this one, the direction of the paper, this was the bottom, and you can just see a bit of the foliage and a bit of the tree here, but it's not obvious enough for it to be a problem. So you can see now we've got one side, 2 sides, and then my last one is going to go on this one. So again, here, let me just make sure that's right. That's going to go over there. Why is that? Yeah, I'm actually going to put it that way and stick it, that's why. I was just thinking, why is that the different orientation to the triangle? It's because I've wrapped it over the wrong way. Yeah, so the cross should have been on that one, and I'm actually going to stick it on this one.
Okay.
I just like them all going the same way. Yeah, it looked odd there. I was like, what have I done? So yeah, just that sticky on the back, and we're actually going to go on this one so that they're all facing. I've got the right angle in that bottom left corner on each one then. Okay. So again, you know, the trees are coming this way, but it's not obvious.
No.
And we're going to cover some of it up anyway. So you've got that design there where we fold over. Now you can actually use a glue dot under here. You can use some of the little sticky Velcro dots if you have them. For the time being, I'm just going to put a tiny bit of my dotty tape pen because that will release as long as I don't burnish it too hard. I'm going to stick it with the little dotty tape pen just so that we can have a look at it. So what I thought we'd do is in that right angle on each one, because we've got the corner shape on here, we're going to put those beautiful snowflakes on the back. So again, you can cut them with your ready-made sticky back plastic on the reverse of them if you so wish. I am the world's worst at remembering to put my sticky back plastic on them, sticky back adhesive on them, not plastic. So I'm going to come in with my dotty tape pen, nice and gentle because there are an awful lot of beautiful little filigree elements on there. So I don't want to be too rough with it and drag those, but just enough dots on there that we can get a nice stick in that corner like so. Okay, so that's number one. Then I'm going to rotate and do the same again. As I say, just follow the direction that your die cuts go in rather than trying to go against the grain and end up damaging. And then this one's going to go against that corner like so. And then I usually use a piece of the scrap card just so that I can apply some pressure again rather than rubbing this and risking damaging it. And then again, that last one, we're going to do the same again. And then I actually had the sentiments that came with the Snow Queen collection as well. So I've actually done a sentiment to go on here as well. Now you can add, I didn't choose to add any bling to this one, but in the centre of the snowflakes here, you could add all your little bits of bling in the middle of there. So you can see now we've got that beautifully decorated card. I'm going to pop a few of those little glue dots just so that you can see it together. And we're literally going to pop this one like so. And then on the front, I've added my bling and it just says, "'Tis the season to sparkle" there, which I think is perfect. So again, just on this side, little bit of glue on here. And we can actually pop this. Now turn it round so that I can see it. Sorry, James, I'm backwards and forwards, but I'll end up with it lopsided and you know what I'm like. So we'll just pop that sort of stick in over the edge. And there you go, you can just see just a really nice example.
Lovely.
And just letting those pieces do the work. So again, you've got the same. You can add more decorations to this if you wish. I've just wanted those papers and the snowflakes to sort of do the work. You can also cut little triangles to go here. If you don't like the white edge on there, you can actually cut those down and mat and layer those as well.
That's gorgeous. I love that shape of the card. I think it looks really beautiful. Yeah, really like that. I'm just going to put those just to one side. Don't look over there. Secret over there. I'm just going to quickly show you these dies. So these are your Christmas corner dies, and so we'll do a quick recap on these. And this one is your snow crystals, the ones you've just seen there. I mean, I love that card. I think it is so effective. I'm going to make one of those when I get home as well. Do you know, my niece was watching yesterday, and she said, I mentioned about the pandas because I want to make her card. Yeah. And she messaged me and said, "Are you going to be making me a panda card?" And I was like, "Oh no, were you watching the show?" Because it looks really, we've been really disorganised because her party's on Saturday. She said, "Yes, I was watching. I've got time. I'm going to make that." Intertwined Holly is your next one. Then we have Bring Out Those Bells. This one is your Christmas decor with your baubles or ornaments. This is your Candy Cane Lane. And Poinsettia Splendour. £32 or $43. Platinum price is £25.60 or $34.40. Now I had a little message here from Hannah. Any chance we can have a sneaky peek at the ultimate crafting bundle? Yes, you can. I'm going to show you what you're going to get. You're going to get this tote. Now I had this. My mum went, "Oh, I like that." Bought one for my mum, and every single lady in her craft club went and bought one as well. really useful. Flattens down to absolutely nothing, but so great because you can see exactly what you're going to be getting in there with really beautiful fabric. I know people have been messaging that they want this to be able to buy this fabric to have in their homes because they really like it. Just buy lots of totes, have them dotted around your house. That's what I reckon you should do. So you're going to be getting this, and you'll be getting this here. So this is your organiser, your desktop organiser. I'm going to take all these bits out first of all, so you can see, because I think when you can see it in the colour, obviously we do have them in black, but this one is particular for this purple. You can see all the different pockets and everything. You've got little pockets down here, but you've also got pockets up here. You've got pockets over here. You can fit your 12 by 12 paper pads. You've got all these different sections in here with hook and loop tape, so you can make them as large or as small as you want. But that's not all, because you're going to be getting pokey tools. Pop those in there. You're going to be getting a dotty tape pen. Oh, I didn't think we had any dotty tape pens. The next thing we're going to have a look at, we're going to have magnetic die holders here. Where are you going to go? You're going to go here. Too many options. You've got a selection of foam pads. You're going to get the magnetic folder to keep all your dies inside. Pop that up there. You'll also be getting the Venetian Grace 12 by 12 paper pad. And let's just have a look. Let's just appreciate the true beauty of this paper pad because it is absolutely stunning. If I move that there, you can see a bit better. There we go. Look at that beautiful, beautiful paper pad. I love the colours in here. Actually, I just want to frame the pictures in here. They're just so beautiful. So you're going to get that, but also you're going to get this as well, 12 by 12 paper pad, the Halloween version. So you've got all this kind of scary, spooky imagery in here, and beautiful. Again, 12 by 12 paper pad. You're getting the whole lot. So this with all of these in here, all of those goodies, and this as well. £60 or $75. A platinum price is just £48 or $60 as well. This is no wonder we've called it the ultimate crafting bundle. Definitely want something you're going to need. And as I say, every single lady in my mum's crafting group has got one of these because they are so useful. You're going to want to have this. Take this opportunity, check out your baskets. We'll see you in a couple of moments.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. Shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Are we in trouble or are we all right? Yeah. Should be coming in. Should be coming.
What does she do?
Exactly how he looks.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on catch up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
And I watch you every day, and it's just what really gets you through when you're really at rock bottom.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV, create every day.
Hi, I'm Ben from Crafters TV. As you may know, we've just launched an amazing new website, our new home of papercraft to house all of your crafty needs. And as we've had a bit of a makeover, I'm here today to help you log into your account on our brand new site. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Go to the Crafters Companion homepage. Make sure to select the correct location at the top of the page. Go to the My Crafters icon on the top right of your screen. Next, enter your email address. Then, enter your password. Click the Sign In button. You should now be logged into your account and taken to your My Crafters page. When you're ready to log out, go to the left-hand side of the page and click the Log Out button in the My Account box. When you're logged out, you'll be taken back to the Crafters Companion page. And it's as easy as that.
Many of our viewers bring up time and time again, and that's our wax seal gate.
Thinking, Joe, it might not work as well because I've put too much. Oh, I've forgotten to put me thing in place.
Because I have a way of words that I think that doesn't engage with that and can come out all wrong. Water.
That wasn't the one you just washed your brush in, was it?
Sorry. Yes, but it doesn't matter.
No, it wasn't, was it? It was. Are you kidding?
I'm going to have to say, it's a slip of the tongue. I'm going to say it's maybe to do with my Scottish accent. I'm maybe going to say it's because of Mr. Ben Mosby. He is, well, yeah, he doesn't help matters.
I've made pots that have exploded when I fired them. I've done zips in inside out. It happens to everybody.
We've all spilt our glitter all over our project or knocked the water over.
You're right.
I've just noticed I've got my dress on inside out.
So I was messing about doing some backgrounds with the sparkling, took the lid off it and managed to catch the pot somehow, and the whole thing came towards me, down my front, across my lap, onto the floor.
I went to reach for the water and, you know, do the tapping with and so there was less tapping and more sort of a tsunami.
I've got some...
It makes me laugh every time, every single time, and we've all done it, haven't we? It's just one of those things. I have a quick question. How do you mail a TP card? Which sounds like it should be a joke, but I think it is. How do you put that in an envelope?
Yep.
Yeah, what is the punchline?
Let me just find where I actually tacked it together there, and it will fold to fit inside an 8x6 envelope.
Fabulous.
Yeah, so if I actually, I don't think I've got that dimension, but you can see the 8 here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 8x6, it just folds flat. So you
Lovely.
can literally just fold it down. It goes in the envelope. You might want to pop a little instruction in it for your recipient if they're not sure, and then it just opens back up and they can pop it back together to make that 3D element. But very, very good question. I should have explained that.
Well, useful to know because actually it's such a... And if you're making and selling, that is a shape that you can charge a lot more for, isn't it? Because, you know, it looks quite spectacular, but I didn't realise quite how simple it was to make. That's really great. Thank you for that. And Kelly Cummings says, I love my craft totes and midi totes. I need another deluxe one soon for a third. Yeah, they are really useful. Definitely take advantage of that ultimate crafting bundle. Another thing you want to take advantage of is this selection of Christmas layering stamps and dies that you've got here. It is over a 70% saving. Huge reduction in this. The first one we've got here is your festive wreath. So you've got all of those different elements in there to create that design. I'm going to put them there, then I can actually see what they are. Festive foliage is your next one. Then you have your decorate the tree. Gosh, I can't wait to decorate my Christmas tree. I love doing that. I only have one Christmas tree. I do have a big glass Christmas tree, which I just decorate by filling it with chocolate. It's still full of the chocolates we didn't eat last year. We were a little bit overexcited when it came to the chocolates. The next one is the reason for the season. And then finally, we have your festive flurry. So you're going to be getting a mixture of stamps and a die in there to create that. And I've got a few samples here to show you. This first one here, look at that. Isn't that pretty? I like that idea of like decorating a Christmas tree and putting it on your card. And so many options you can do with all of the different ink pads that we've got. Some of that glitter glue maybe. I like that idea. And then we've got this one here. It's an easel card, looking really pretty. And then finally, we've got one with the festive flurries. Very nice colours actually, very much kind of a frozen kind of look to it in those blues. Lovely. £22 or $29. Platinum price is £17.60 or $23.20. As I say, 70% savings. So this has got to be something that if you're looking to do something a little bit different, it's got to be the ideal items for you to pop into your basket. What are you going to be making with these?
Right, I'm going to do something a bit different again. You know me,
Okay.
it's like I always go outside the box. So we've taken the festive foliage, and again, this one's got those nice statement pieces in, and then you've got the extra element, and along with several sentiments. But these are a layering stamp, so it's all done in different sort of stamped processes. So if I show you just on the back of here as well, we always give you an idea of the colours that have been used on the inspiration that's shown on the packaging. And the best one, and this again is a perfect opportunity to talk about some of the inks, are our quick dry inks. So these are part of the Spectrum Noir range, and this is part of the colour range. So our stamping inks are Finesse by Spectrum Noir.
Okay.
The colour range of inks are Harmony by Spectrum
Right.
Noir. So that's just the main difference in the naming there. And we have a selection of 36 colours in 12 different colour families. So you end up with a light, a mid-tone and a deeper shade. For example, this is Bordeaux, which is the deepest of the orangey red family. And this one is Smoked Emerald, which is the deepest one of the sort of sagey green colours. So yeah, 36 different colours, and those colours remain the same throughout all the ink pads as far as the Harmony collection are concerned. We then brought in some new colours with the shimmer ink pads and the Duet, which are more recent, and those are the little teardrop shaped ones.
Oh yes.
So I thought we'd just explain these because for layering, they are the perfect choice. These are not called quick dry for any reason other than that they dry instantly the minute that they touch a porous surface. So on your stamps or on your glass mat, they will stay wet while you're using them. But the minute you stamp them out onto your card, and I will show you what I mean if you've not seen this demo before, you can literally rub over it and it's dry instantly.
Wow.
So it means you can go on to the next layer of your stamp without having to worry about smudging the ink. So in there, we're going to get a massive selection of stamps in there, and your layering stamps are numbered. So you can see at the bottom here, it is upside down. I've got number 1, then number 2,
Yeah.
and then number 3. So number 1 lays down a little bit of the foliage, and then layer number 2 enhances that foliage and pops down the base of the poinsettia. And then number 3 adds the poinsettia and the berries. So we're going to change colour as we go along. So we could start with a lighter green, a darker green, and then into the red for the main petals of the poinsettia. You've also got a little element here that does that extra piece. So you've got the holly, and layer 2 adds the berries on. You've also got some extra pieces. We've got layer number 4 puts the centre in the poinsettia. And then you've got some little extra accent elements along with your sentiments. So there have been lots of shows. If you actually look for layering stamps, probably on our masterclass shows, there's been lots of demos done, and I've done them myself as well, with the layering technique. So we're going to move away slightly from that today because I like to be able to buy a product and think, well, what else can I do with it? So you've also got the metal work here as well. So this will cut out that large element here once it's all stamped out into the layers. So if I bring you the packaging in again, you can see here, you can create that as a topper if you wish. And this is all one piece this time, so it cuts all the way around your element. And then you've also got the metal work to cut out the smaller embellishment piece as well.
Okay.
I'm going to throw all that on its head. Having said that, now we're going to do something different again with them. So I like to be able to get value for money if I'm purchasing something. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's craft related or not. So the fact that you can do something else with it, I just think is a great way. So because I've actually got, I'm going to do some off the edge stamping. I've just got a piece of just cheap old photocopier paper that I'm going to use to protect my platform rather than having to clean all the ink off it afterwards. So I'm just going to put that on the base and then put my cardstock. And what I actually want to do is stamp off the edge of the piece here.
Okay.
And I'm going to take that, what would be the smaller element here, I'm going to take the holly and the little berries that go with it, and we're going to work with those. So I chose the smoked emerald, which is a really nice dark green for the holly, and then the Bordeaux, the dark red, is going to be for the little berries.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is position this so that it goes literally off the edge of my card. I want to create a border for my, rather than using background paper, I'm going to create my own kind of background using the stamps. So position it on your cardstock. We're going to ink it up with that lovely, it's perfect for the holly this. It's called smoked emerald, but it is a proper holly green. And again, we're just going to press that down and it's going to catch my cardstock, but I've deliberately stamped off the edge of the card. So you can see if I lift this now, we've just got part of it on there. Okay. And then I'm just going to give it a quick swish on the right side. Janet helps. Just to get rid of any surplus ink. And then I'm going to move it along, but I'm going to turn it. Last time I had it with the bottom of the holly leaves. I'm actually going to turn it round a little bit this time so it's in a different orientation.
Would you not use could you use your rocker blocks for this?
You could, absolutely, or any of your smaller stamping platforms.
Yep.
But I reach for this every time because it's my go-to product at home. I tend to use this for most of my stamping, even if it's just a small sentiment. I love the fact that you've got the grid to line wording stamps up with and things like that. And again, I'm going to continue with this. I'm not going to do it all here because again, I've got one that's already done, but we're literally going to go all the way around the edge, just rotating that stamp each time.
I love
so that we've got a different angle, a different element of the stamp. We'll just do that top edge and then I'll show you the one that I've prepared at home. So yeah, it takes a few minutes, but you'll be surprised when you get that detail at the end of it. So again, that's why I put the paper underneath, just to catch that spare ink. And then once you've been all the way around the edge with the green one, I'm going to bring those little berries in and turn this round now so that I can see here. You can see that we've got these little tiny dots are not sort of bits where I've caught the stamp. They're actually meant to be the little seeds at the end of the berry, you know, the little sort of bits at the end. So yeah, when we get these in the right position, those will actually form, and you can just line this up easily by eye. The system to layer them, all the stamps have got, you can see they've got like a right angle corner on them. So the idea with this is that you mark that corner. I'd usually just put a little tiny pencil dot, and each one, but they're easy enough to line up, I think, when you just layer them over the top. So for example, if we just get that one in the right place, and I will just add a little bit of the red ink to show you what I mean. Okay, and then that one's going to go down here. And you can see how we've got the little red berries.
That's lovely.
So when you've done that and you've been all the way round it, it's going to look like so.
Oh, wow.
And all I've done is just mat it on a little bit of green cardstock. But I've literally just taken my time, keep repositioning the holly. And you can see here how we've got the beginnings of it. But we've just taken it all the way around. And wherever there were part of the berries, the stalks showing, I've added those little red berries in. So that's going to be my background layer. And then I'm going to use this more as it was intended now. So we're going to create it with that die cut piece. Now, because this is a solid piece of metal, because it's smaller, they've not done an open edge. It's hard, personally, and again, I'll be honest with you, I find this quite hard to line up over my stamped image. So what I tend to do is die cut first in this instance. So I've literally put some of my cardstock in here, and I've actually die cut that element out. And then I'm just going to use a little tiny bit of my dotty tape pen, because until it's all burnished down, that's not going to stick down properly. And then we can line up our stamp on top of here. So because these are nice photopolymer clear stamps, I can now position this and I can see exactly where I want that to sit. And once you're happy with it, we're going to pop the top piece back on. Now, if you don't have the magnetic platform, this one would be slightly more difficult with the, oh, hang on, I've got a sticky stamp. Right, let me do that again because I need to make sure it's going to go back in the right place. Let me just line that up again. This one is still sticky. So we're just going to give it an extra little clean. Okay. But yeah, if you don't have the stamping platform, you would pop this onto your block first, and then because this element's clear, you can still see through, you know, say for example you're using the little 4x4 stamping platform. I'm not so sure how successful it would. You might be able to do it with a rocker block, but I think you'd be better with a platform that you can see straight through. So let me just try that again and maybe not press quite so hard. That's better. So again, I'm going to bring my green ink back in. Okay, line that one back into the system and commit to my little die cut there. And you can see now we've got everything. And because we've not gone mad with those dots, they literally just release. You've also got room to put the berries in again. Yeah. Which I've done on this one, and I've just added some gems over some of the berries again to give a little bit of bling. Yeah. All right, we're going to use this one as an embellishment. I've popped some little foam pads on the back ready, and then simply we're just going to keep it nice and straightforward. I've got a square card which is a 6x6 out of one of the craft kit boxes, standard 6x6. And I made this layer the right size to just go straight onto the top here. So we're going to lay that one down. Either glue, tape pen, double-sided tape, whatever your go-to is for your adhesive. Again, we'll do that as a normally open card. And just keep it simple. I want the stamping to sort of do the work there. And then I've created a second layer, which is smaller than this one. So you can see we've just got that border showing now through the edge. Yeah. And I've stamped, this is actually from the stamp set. You've got a really nice size stamp there for Christmas wishes. And I've just been around, it just looked a bit plain. So I've just been around the edge of it with my pen again and doodled around the edge. This one's actually going to go onto red to bring the red and the green together. So again, and this has all been done, all the stamping's been done on my Nina cardstock again. I like the nice smooth surface of the Nina for stamping the quick dry inks on. So that one's going to go onto here. And then again, you can choose whether you want to do any layering or not. So you may wish to put foam pads behind here and layer this one up slightly. I'm actually going to keep it flat for the purpose of our demo today. Okay. Again, if you think if you're posting your cards out at Christmas, sometimes they're better more flat than raised. So again, this one's going to go, and again, I was sort of playing around with it as to whether it wanted to go straight.
You see a bit more of the background when it's at an angle, don't you? Yeah, I
quite liked it. I'm not usually fond of things at an angle, but I did actually quite it that way, I think, doesn't it? Shall we go for a little jaunty angle? I think so.
A jaunty angle.
A little jaunty angle. This is great if you're not very good at getting things straight. If you have trouble lining things up, deliberately go for that sort of offset angle because it doesn't matter then. And then we're going to use that little embellishment just to go here and tie it all together. And I have put this bit on little foam pads. Again, if you're wanting to keep it flat, you could just pop it straight on to the card itself with some adhesive. It doesn't have to be on foam pads. These are the tiniest little foam pads ever. There we go.
I like how clean it is.
Yes, and I deliberately kept it that way. You know that I'm a very, very big lover of inking the edges of my projects. And I looked at it and I thought, no, actually, for what I've done here, I do prefer it with that plain, nice white edge. So again, I just like the colour, the green and the red against the background there. And that is literally, you can decorate the inside again if you wish. You can add some of these elements. You could use the stamp again. You could pop, another one of these inside if you wish. However you want to go with it. I haven't done the inside on that one. Let me just move all this gubbins out the way and then we'll have a look at that one from the front there. So again, nice and simple, like you say, quite clean looking. but wouldn't be too difficult to sort of batch make. It's just going round the border there. But again, a completely different way to how you see these advertised with that layering technique.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show you, that it doesn't always have to be. There are lots of demos with us layering them. I know I've had these on shows before where I've done the layering technique. But yeah, just to show you something totally different.
Love that.
You can do with your stamps.
Brilliant. I like the idea of doing something different. Terry Anderson says, lovely card, Jan. I need to get this set out and have a play. I think quite a few people in the comments have said that they've got these and being able to use them in a different way is quite appealing. Suzanne says, good to step outside your comfort zone. It absolutely is. We do need to do, pardon me. We do need to do a vote for demo of the show. Yeah. Would you mind being able to get your makes together so we can do the vote?
Yep.
Fantastic.
Right, we started up at the top of the show then, didn't we, with those gorgeous floral sprays. All right, and we actually did some sort of almost like paper piecing where we created those stamped layers and decoupaged it. So that was number 1 with the Christmas bow. Number 2 were those lovely little festive friends, and we made our little table place decoration with my tea for Toby, in case anybody wasn't watching. Okay, and then we went to those beautiful corner dies and we chose the snowflakes to make our TP card. So this one's a bit of a sort of an all-rounder. You've got a view of it from all sides there. So that was number 3. And then number 4, using those layering stamps, but just giving you an alternative way as to how you might want to use them if you don't want to do all the particular layering there.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3 or 4.
Fantastic. And to have a quick recap just to show you what the stamps and dies look like. This first one here is your festive wreath. Then we have your festive foliage. This one is your decorate the tree. The reason for the season, and then finally festive flurries, £22 or $29, platinum price is £17.60 or $23.20, giving you a 70% savings. So if you've not had a chance to grab these, just the idea of being able to make backgrounds like that, I think that's well worth it. I've got a few questions have come through about using Illustrator pens and how you can use those. If we get a chance at the end of this show, well, maybe we can go through them, or perhaps in the next show we can have a quick talk about why you would use an Illustrator pen over a tri-blend if we've got the time a bit later. But I do want to make sure that you get a chance to see as much as possible. So this is a buddy bag collection here. I always think it'd be quite nice for me to know what they all are without looking at them, but I never can because I can never quite remember. This one is Barbara. So these are all of these nice clear, if you've never seen these before, these are buddy bags from Totally Tiffany. They are clear organisational gems. They come with hook and loop tape on them. They are super sturdy. Some of them, or most of them, come with some kind of plastic insert to give them a bit of a structure. So this one is ideal for storing your ink pads in here. They all are cleverly thought out, so you've got little handles on them. The idea being that you can store all your goodies on a shelf with a little label down here, and then when you need them, you just need to grab them from your shelf. So this first one is your Barbara. Then this one is your Teresa. Now we've got loads of, shall I open this one? Everyone's saying, don't open it. It makes glitter go everywhere. You can see one of the pots was obviously a little bit loose, but great for storing things like this. Now we're storing them with crafty goodies, but absolutely you can use them for other things. You know, perhaps you want some of these in your garage for organising tools and screws and bits and pieces. You want to use them for children, organising things in the car. Maybe you want these to be used for organising snacks and toys and crayons, all those sorts of things. They're very, very versatile. This one is your Shelley. So we've got some of our gilding wax in here. You can see how many you can fit in here, and sturdy. Now these, if you've ever got these, you know these are heavy little containers. These are strong. I have no compunction about doing this. I know it's going to last and keep everything nice and held safely. This next one is your Brandy, which is quite tall, good for rulers. You could fit shortish knitting needles in there. Not your full length ones. There is glitter everywhere now. Just gonna put it in my hair. Really useful. Again, like I say, you know, we're thinking about crafty things because we're putting obviously crafty items in here. But just organisation in your home or on holiday is absolutely key. This next one is, I want to say Dawn. No, Gail. This one is Gail. Again, you know, you've got this really strong hook and loop tape in these, which is going to keep everything nice and secure. Really great for keeping it all organised. This next one is your Katya. So if I open this one up, you can see you've got little boxes in this one. Keep everything organised. Oh, look, sweets. I'm just saying that, oh, that's one, that one's fallen out. It's like the glitter's all that, and look, oh, sweets. Again, you've got these little pulls here to pull these off your shelves, just making it nice and easy. And as Tiffany always says, if you can't see it, you won't use it, which is absolutely true. This one is Teresa. Oh, Terry, I'm not very good at remembering these. Teresa's the one that's got glitter on it. Oh, I'm getting confused. But this is perfect for organising your pens. So you've got different little flaps here. So you've got flaps around the outside. These ones have got some of our Spectrum Noir pens in them, but you could fit taller pens, perhaps your tri-blends. We'll have to check those, see if they fit in. But the idea with our pens is they should always be stored on their side. Popping them in here makes them easily accessible. Again, just pull them with that handle, but it means you can see all your colours. And if you're going to be taking them off to a craft show or a craft class, again, it makes it nice and easy for you to take them with you. As I say, sturdy, clear, and a really great organisational tool for you. £28.95 or $40.95. Platinum price is £23.16 or $32.76. I have an answer to demo of the show. Right, in the gallery, who do you think should have won? Well, we've got 1 and 4 in the gallery. And Jan, I know you don't like to say which one you think should win, but which one do you think should win?
I don't know, to be honest. They've all got different worth, haven't they?
They have.
It depends what your thing is. Yeah.
Well, I think everyone loves the fact that you've shown a different way to use a product. So actually the winner is number 4.
Excellent.
Number 4.
Yep.
Number 4.
Yep. I just think if you can get more money out of a product, it's worth more to you.
That's absolutely brilliant. Fantastic. I like that a lot. Right, Jan, you've got glitter glue over there.
I've got some samples with the glitter glue, yes. I love this stuff. I've been having a play with it. I've got a project coming up in a couple of weeks' time where we've incorporated a little bit of this. But these actually come to you. I'll show you the product itself. Have you got the swatches over there?
I have got the boards,
Becky?
yeah.
Have you got the product over there?
I have no product.
No. So these come to you in sets of 3 then. So we've got 5 different sets. So glittering ballroom. If you buy 4 of these sets today, am I right in saying the 5th one comes to you for free? Excellent. So you're going to get 15 bottles altogether, but you're only actually paying for 4 lots of them, so 12 bottles. So really nice colours. The glittering ballroom's got a really dark navy, like a midnight blue, and the silver and that lovely sort of almost rose gold in. We've got a festive frost, your traditional colours there, which are the ones that I've used in a couple of weeks' time. You might see some little snippets of that coming up. And then you've got the lovely Aurora one, which has got those sort of different colours going through it, sparkling ice. We have got precious pastels. Absolutely gorgeous. So a lavender colour, the lilac, and that lovely sort of wintry blue. And you have got sparkling florals, again with the flowers in mind. You've got the green one there for foliage, and then we've got a beautiful purple and that lovely sort of almost like a peony pink in there. And then the 4th one, I think this, very, very useful, is a set of 3. Now these are all the same. These are all the sparkling ice. But these would embellish absolutely anything. If you're just wanting a touch of glitter, if you're wanting to bring some colour into it, you've got your other ones to have a look at. So all that glitters is 3 of your Aurora Technique ones. Right, so just to give you some ideas then, you can use them to enhance your stamped images there. So if I just tip this slightly, you can see these little Santa hats all sparkly, his scarves all sparkly. You could use the
no one to be so happy.
The clear one for the snow. We've just done some little snowdrops in the background there. Again, anything that has wings, so whether it be fairies, butterflies, dragonflies, you can just see that depth And as always, you know, we know Leanne well, these will be packed with glitter, absolutely packed. I've used these on numerous occasions. I actually had them with me when I was here last week, and we decorated our own papers. So papers from your paper pads, you can actually add the glitter to and make your own. So a little bit like this one. You can see here, we've just used the paper as the feature. You know, not to overlook some of those beautiful papers. That looks as if it's from the vintage snowman there. And again, we've just added that lovely sparkle to it, just to enhance, and created our own sort of easel card. We've used it on the die cut flower there, the poinsettia at the bottom. Absolutely beautiful. Again, use it on your embossing folders just to add that extra little bit of sparkle. It dries reasonably quickly. It depends how much you've used, obviously. You know, if you've used a lot of it, it will take longer to dry. But just to accent like this, I would say probably 10-15 minutes and you're good to go. And again, you know, sort of creating, we've just used it on the edge of the flowers here to add some extra sparkle, and then creating your own little sort of dewdrops with it as well. So just popping enough out. What I tend to do is pop them out onto my card and then just give it a tap, just to get them all to settle into that dome shape. And you get those little frosted, glittered accents on there as well. And the clear one, again, either looks like snow, it could be water if you've got like an underwater or a nautical theme. Absolutely gorgeous. I think these are a great addition to anybody's stash.
I like those, and I particularly like when you're just saying, because I think when we were together last week, you'd got some paper and you just used some glitter paste on it and shown how easy it is to create something with those beautiful papers. And like you said, just with that one there, just using some of that glitter paste,
just enhancing
glue,
it,
yeah, makes it really worthwhile. I'll show you the board so you can see the colours. The first one is the clear one, so this is all that glitters. So this is like this iridescent kind of aurora borealis kind of look to it. This next one is glittering ballroom. This one is your festive frost, which is really beautiful. You've got your vanilla, or your vanilla ice, your sparkling ice here. And then you've also got your precious pastels in the purple and the blue and the pale lavender. And then finally, you've got your sparkling florals here as well. £27 or $31. Platinum price is £21.60 or $24.80. Sarah Brown says, that's been a fabulous show. Thank you, Jan, for your inspiration ideals. Yeah, full of inspiration and a great way to look at things that are slightly different. Now, if you do want some inspiration, we do have a deal on the Crofters Inspiration magazines. These are issues 3 and 4 that you're going to get in this bundle. I've got lots of samples to show you, but I'm going to do those separately because we've got 2 baskets here, but it's all part of the same deal. So I'll show you first of all what you're going to get in one. So these are really cool, great idea. I think if you are crafting on the go, perhaps you're going on holiday, you want to get something, a couple of things sort of played about with, or perhaps you have a friend who's just sort of starting their crafting journey, because you're going to get in here a selection of papers. You're also going to get a die, you're going to get some stamps in here as well, and everything's sort of colour coordinated for you. But not only that, you're also going to be getting the magazine. And in the magazine, there is tons and tons of inspiration, step-by-step details about how to create some of the items using all of the bits and pieces inside this collection. So I mean, obviously you're going to need some glue, you're going to need some card blanks, and you're going to be using that die, you're going to be needing some kind of die cutting machine, but you're going to find that all of the papers work together, or with all those different designs in there. To give you a few examples, so these are some of the projects that you could be making once you've purchased the magazine, using all of the little bits and pieces that you'll find in there. So using the stamps, using the dies, using the papers, to create these different types of items. Really great. And for that kind of price, I mean, that's such a good deal. But that's just one of the magazines you'll be getting in this deal. You're also going to be getting this one as well. So it works in exactly the same way. You've got a mixture of different papers, you've got different items in here like stamps, you've got dies in here as well for you to be able to use, and you've got the magazine absolutely jam-packed full of inspiration. 79 tips and techniques in here. So you've got interviews with some of the craft experts in here, but all sorts of different bits and pieces that you can be making in here. Really great. Great for a starting point. Great actually for people that craft all the time, but sometimes your creative juices just dry up and you need a little bit of inspiration, and then that is the kind of place that you want to go. To show you in here, we've got a few samples. Oh, these gorgeous. Love these. Do you know, I love an animal, don't I? Let's be honest. I think they're all very cute. Grab a couple more. Look at all these different projects, different inspiration to create from these. Just £12.99 or $19.95. The platinum price is £10.39 or $15.96 for both of those. I think that is a crazy good deal. Really, like I say, you know, the fact that you've got everything colour coordinated, I just think that's really ideal. Kind of gift, almost like a stocking filler, really. And we're coming up to Christmas, so it won't take long before it'll be upon our doorstep. Thank you so much for the first show. That's it, you're going home now. No, thank you so much for that, because I think actually there's such a wealth of inspiration and wealth of sort of tips that you've given us today.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. And I like to be able to show you, you know, yes, you buy something because you like the concept, but if it does other things as well, it's just a bonus in my world.
Absolutely, totally agree. We will just recap. We'll talk briefly about those Illustrator pens later on in the show, next show perhaps, if we get the opportunity to. So don't think I've forgotten about you, because I haven't. Catherine says, thank you so much for a lovely show. Jan, you are fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
That is what we all think. Hope you've enjoyed the show. We will see you back in a couple of hours. Take care.